that was one of the reasons behind us doing this, was to discuss everything, because I remember at the time you wanted to kind of get your side of the story across as to why you both decided to go your separate ways, because you didn't agree with some comments that did come out from like Dominic, Ingle and what have you.
Yeah.
Let's just obviously touch on that. We'll start off with yourself and Kell. When was your first ever interaction with Kell Brook? How did your friendship or relationship start?
Well, I boxed him. I boxed. Oh, I'll tell you what. No, it come down to our gym first. Before that, we were about 13. I was about 13, 14. He might have been, he's a year younger than me. And he just come down to the gym a little bit. I don't know if somebody brought him down to spar from Ingle's or something. I can't remember. It's just sparred with him. Can't really remember much because we're only kids. And then we boxed when we was about 15. And that's the first real interaction we had with him. We boxed. I boxed him on his show. He beat me. Then I boxed him on our show. I beat him. And then, even though we boxed each other, there was a bit of a rivalry there. We still had a lot of respect for him. And then when I got talking to him, we're very similar sense of humour, similar kind of person, similar eating habits outside training and things like that. So we used to meet up for a curry and stuff. But we just got on all right. And then we turned professional on the same day. We had his debut on the exact same show. Dennis Hobson's show at Don Valley in Sheffield, 2004, and then we just followed each other all the way through. Like I say, in between fights, we might meet up for food or whatever, and then we'd talk to each other through training and stuff. And then obviously, I stopped. I had 3 years out of my career, and he carried on and went on to do what he did. So he'd always text me and say like, "Oh, what do you think to this kid?" and this and that, and we'd always carry on talking, and then. Might go 6 months without speaking, then speak again. Might go a year and then speak every couple of weeks or something like that. It was just a bit hit and miss after we got a bit older. But always treat him as a friend. He always treated me as a friend and always got on really well.
So obviously, you've had a long-standing relationship with him and friendship with him, more importantly. When did and how did the opportunity come about for you guys to work together for that Zarafa fight?
Well, he was texting me, "How you doing?" and stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right, thanks," etc., etc. How's gym and everything? I says, "Yeah," and he just blatantly said, "Oh, do you want to come to Forteventura on Sunday?" I was like, "What for?" He went, "Oh, just come out for a bit," and I was like, "Well, I can't, pal. I've just had little, and I've got gym and everything. Like what?" And I'd said, "What for? Like a bit of a jolly up or training or what?" He went, "Oh no, to do some training." So like I said, "Well, it's a bit weird, pal, isn't it? Like you've got your own trainers and stuff. Like why am I gonna come out?" And that's when he says, "Oh, I'm just out on my own at the minute. I'm just ticking over. Just thought, would you want to come over?" And I said, "Oh, I can't. I'm sorry, pal. This and that." And he says, "All right, no worries." And then about a week later, he messaged me again. He was like, "Are you gonna come over or what?" And I was like, well, I can't." And he was like, "What do you mean you can't?" And I remember saying, "Oh, Alfie's got his first skills bout on Friday." And he was like, "Who's Alfie?" And I went, "One of the kids in gym, he's got his first skills bout." And he went, "Oh, you being serious?" I went, "Yeah, I am being serious. Like, he's got his skills bout in Leeds. I've got a video, so I can't come." He went, "Oh, come Sunday then." And I think I said, "Oh, Harrison's boxing or something like that." He went, having a laugh. He went, "I'll book you a plane ticket and come out." And I said, "Book it me for next week then, and I'll come. But I can't come this week because lads are boxing." So I said to my missus, I said, "I'll just go off for a week." He says he's going to book me for a week. I'll go over, I'll have crack with him and stuff and see what crack is. Lo and behold, he'd not booked me a return flight. He just booked me one flight over there. And I took like 1 week's worth of clothes. And he was like, and after a few days, we just clicked. And I said, "What's happening?" And he was just saying, "Dom's too busy at the minute. I've spoke to him and that. And he's in Canada or wherever he is and this and that." He says, like, "I want you to train me." And I went, "Well, how long am I here for?" He went, "Well, we'll just see." And I went, "You played a blinder here, pal, ain't you?" So everybody at gym pulled together, though. They loved it. They were buzzing for me. They were buzzing for it. So they all pulled together. And I think we did about 3 weeks. We come back for a bit, did another 3 weeks. So he just said to me, I said to him, "What's it for? Is it a one-fight gig? What is it like? Just tell me now." He went, "No." He says, at first it was a bit like that. And then after about a week, I said, "Listen, what's happening? Am I training you or am I filling in? Because if I'm filling in, that's fine. But I want to tell people I'm filling in. If I'm not," and he said, "No, you're training me." He went, "I'm telling you now, you're training me." So I says, are you sure? He says, yeah. So that was it. So I started training him. Everything went brilliant. Build up were brilliant and things like that. But when he come back, we were supposed to be fighting on the Ruiz undercard as well to Joshua Ruiz. And then I think he got a chest infection or something like that. I can't remember. He was out of gym for a bit. And then things just fell apart a little bit. And I think he wanted big fights and he were getting a bit disheartened that he ran another undercard, he ran an undercard rather than a main fight. And then he were a bit pool and he just said, John, I'm just spending a bit of time with my family. And I said, that's fine, that's all right. And then we didn't end up coming in gym in a week, turned into another week, and turned into a month, and turned into another month. Still text him, like, what you doing? And then it got to a point where I just said to him, I've got a lot of kids in gym and I'm busy. Like, I can't keep chasing you kind of thing, pal. Like, so whenever you're ready to start back up again, we'll start back up again. And he went, yeah, I promise, Fewkes, we will. I'm just having a bit of time out at a minute. I went, that's fine, mate. And then I didn't see him again, basically.
We'll come on to some of the later stuff of that answer in a minute. But just to go back to your camp with Kell out in Fuerteventura, and then when you came back, what did you make of working with Kell? What did you see in Kell? Did you still see that world championship fighter who'd won world title, or did you see that he was kind of losing it a little bit? Because naturally, that Zerafa fight, it wasn't his best performance. I'm sure you'll admit that yourself.
Yeah.
And people will always look at it and think, new trainer. They put the blame to.
Oh, yeah, I got some
myself, but yeah, you took the stick for that.
Yeah.
What did you make of your camp together? Was you surprised Kell didn't deliver more on the night against Zerafa?
Yeah, honestly, and I'll say this: I don't care whether I'm still working with him, whether we fell out or whether we were good. We haven't fell out, by the way, but like whatever. He's a complete different level of athlete. Honestly, I boxed him as a kid, watched him box, probably watched near enough every one of his fights as a pro. But me and my assistant trainer, Lee Edwards, he used to box with me years ago. We both said to each other, I've never seen anything like this. Like, what really got me, like, obviously a lot of people call him a quitter with Errol Spence and things like that or whatever. If you would have seen the stuff he put his body through and his mind through on that camp, the kid can't spell quitter, never mind quit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was next level. And honestly, we got good sparring in for him, and he's sparring and his track work and everything. I said to Lee, I went, if he don't win another world title here, I'll stand hanging. I'll stand hanging if he don't win another world title. And it was just, it was a weird one because the camp went, there's no lying in it, the camp went brilliant. Nothing went wrong. And like I said before, you probably touch onto it a little bit, there's certain people saying that things went wrong week at fight. Nothing went wrong week at fight. Nobody knows any. The only people that knows about my camp and Kell's camp was me, Kell, Lee Edwards, and Greg. Greg is nutritionist. They're the only people that know about our camp. Because they're the 4 people or 5 people what were there day in, day out. Our camp went brilliant. The reason he didn't perform very well is because he showed he's still a human being. I don't know if it was pressure or what, but he didn't stick to the game plan. And he admitted that himself after the fight. And that's another thing what I love about Kell. Like, afterwards, he didn't say a bad word about me. He didn't blame me. He didn't say this and that. He took it on the chin. He went, I didn't listen. He said, I didn't listen. I didn't stick to the game plan. And it went wrong. And once you don't stick to a game plan, once you get something in your head, I'm going to get him out of here, you don't get him out of here as a fighter, then it becomes a hard night. And then after the first 4, 5, 6, 4 rounds or whatever, it's become a hard night for him, which also proved, like you just said, is it still there or whatever? Forget the performance. It showed that he's still got plenty of bottle and he still wants to be here. Otherwise, when it had got hard, he could have said to me, I don't fancy this. But he didn't.
Do you think with that performance, you mentioned, Kell never followed the game plan, he admitted himself. Do you think it was possibly, in Kell's own mind, he's obviously, he's a world level athlete, he's achieved a lot in the sport. Do you think in his mind he was there thinking that he could just go out there and do it on his own? He didn't really need to follow instructions? Did you think that maybe your friendship with Kell on a personal level kind of influenced his own decisions on the night and he didn't really want to follow instructions? Do you think any of that?
I think he just wanted to prove everybody wrong. I just genuinely think because I did have this conversation with him when I first started working. I said to him, like, am I just here as a mate, or am I here because you want me to train you? And he said to me, I've had phone call after phone call of people wanting to train me, right? I could pick anybody I wanted to train me. I wanted you. He went, so it's not to do that. I says, well, you like, if I tell you what to do, you got to do it. And he listened to everything I told him to do, like, and he just did it like that in training, not a problem. I just think, obviously, we were done for a long, long time, and he was so close. He got a relationship like myself and Glyn Rhodes. He's known him as a kid. They obviously love each other, whether he had a fallout or what, I don't know. But we all do that. We all fall out with his dads and his uncles and his brothers and his best friends. You know what I mean? We all do that. And I think with Don being ringside and with Johnny being ringside, like Johnny's been at that gym for so long, and everybody's saying, oh, who's this John Fewkes kid and this and that. He just wanted to prove them wrong. And also, not just that, you'll know, and boxers should know, when you're listening to people about boxing, you need to listen to people that know what they're on about. Not people what's had 10 pints or whatever and look at a kid and say, oh, Kell will smash him to bits. And I also think he listened to a lot of his mates what said, you'll get him out, you'll knock this kid out, he'll do this. And he would just wanted it. He wanted what it were, and this sounds really weird to people that don't know what I mean, but he wanted to try too hard. He wanted to look too good. So he went out here from round one, tried too hard, wanted to prove a point. And then when the kid was still there after 5 rounds, then you start to think, oh, hang on a minute, I've hit him with everything I can here, and he's still here. And then I don't care who you are, whether you're Floyd Mayweather, whether you're Kell or Terence Crawford or whatever. When you're hitting the kid with everything you can and he's still there, then you start to think, oh, this is going to be a long night. Huh? And I just think that's what happened. And he had a bit of a bad spell in the middle of the fight, then come back, had a bad 9-4-10 for something, I think. Then he come back again. And in spells, I stand by. Listen, I watched the fight back and I've watched my interview back after. And I will always, always be protective of my fighters. I don't care whether they've had 100 fights and they've just come to me, or whether it's a kid who didn't know his left from his right and he's 12-year-old and he's come from me. So when you're getting stick, or when their head's down and they're upset and people kind of like, I don't want to say sticking a boot in, but saying you didn't box very well, this and that, I will stand up for him. And I don't care whether people said, oh, he's talking absolute rubbish, him saying Kell boxed all right. In spells, he did box well. In spells, he boxed all right. In other spells, he didn't box well at all. But I don't think it was the fact that he thought, oh, I don't need to listen to him. I think he just let everything get to him, which was very surprising, seeing as he's boxed at the level he's boxed at. And the level he's going to box at, because I've got no doubt if he gets the opportunity, because I think he's a little bit like Bomber Graham were back in the day, like, he's a bit of a who needs him. Because I don't know, like, I think Terence Crawford's quality, don't get me wrong, I think he's unbelievable. Like, but if a Terence Crawford or something like that boxes Kell, he's taking a risk, and he's taking a risk against not a massive superstar in people's eyes. So same as Bomber were, when Ben and Eubank boxed each other, you get paid 10 times more money than they would box Bomber, and Bomber's got a big chance of beating him. Same as Kell with these top superstar fighters. So it's like, I don't know. If he gets the chance, I've got no doubt he can still compete at that level and still win a world title. Like, I would still back him and I would still be cheering him on like mad. But I think he let the occasion get to him, and he thought he was going to walk through the kid. Whether he thought that before the fight or not, but I think he got that wound up, wanted to prove a point that much. He tried too hard and it just didn't work.
Let's talk about the events that followed after the fight. Then you mentioned that you was looking to get on, well, Kell was looking to get onto the Joshua Ruiz card out in New York, and the fight just never materialised. After the Zerafa fight, what was kind of your interactions like with Kell? Because I remember it was probably 2 weeks after that, I was speaking to you, looking to come up to catch up with yourself and Kell, reflect on the fight and how you intended to move forwards together. What was your own interaction like? Was you speaking to him every day? How was it going?
Yeah, what really surprised me, about 2 days after, what did he box on a Saturday? He boxed on a Saturday, and on Sunday night he texted me and he was like, are you all right? I said, yeah, of course I am. Are you? He went, yeah. He says, and he was just saying, I'm a bit disappointed, kind of thing. Like how everything went, I wanted to go better. I said, not be disappointed. You got 12 rounds in. I went, do you want to train it morning? I said, yeah. So we got it gym on Monday morning, and he stayed in it, and he stayed in training. I went to his house on New Year's Eve. We had a bit of a do at his house on New Year's Eve. Like I had some food and everything. Like he stayed on it all the way through Christmas, all the way through New Year's, and he were on it. And then I think it got to about January time, and nothing was still set up for him or anything like that. And then that's when he just started getting a little bit fed up. And instead of being in 3-4 times a week, we might have been in once or twice a week. Still spoke on the phone a lot. But like from a selfish point of view, I had a gym to run. I had all these kids to run. And I don't just have boxing. I have kids class from like 6 and 7 year old. And it's the highlight of the week coming to this gym. Like, and some of them ain't got nothing. Some of them ain't even got a PlayStation at home or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I was having to concentrate on this, and I were getting in whenever Kell wanted to. But if it were a kids' class and he could only get in at 4 o'clock, he'd have to run or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, but it were brilliant. And even now, when did I speak to him? I think I spoke to him last week. So even now, me interactions with him are still good. I spoke to him before his last fight. I spoke to him after his last fight. What was kid called? What's his name?
I've forgotten myself, and I was covering
the
fight.
American kid, weren't it? Bazooka, they called him, right? Bazooka Luca, weren't it?
Mark DeLuca.
Yeah, that way. So we were all right. We stayed on it all the way after New Year, and then, like I said, when he got a little bit fed up, I think we're not getting anything and things like that. And then he got a little bit. I'm sure it was a chest infection or something he had, where he had to pull out a fight or something like that. But he just weren't on it. He just mentally weren't on it. And if it level he's at, if he's not mentally on it and he loses to somebody he shouldn't lose to, well, look how much stick he got when he beat a kid what everybody thought he was going to beat easy. If he lost to a kid what he shouldn't have lost to, then I think it would have gone up. But I'm just going to walk as I'm talking to you. I need to get my charger. That's all right, pal.
No problem, mate. Yeah, that's fine.
So where have I put the keys? So yeah, but it's so we stayed on it like that. But then he just gradually stopped coming in as much, and then he must have. Well, he obviously must have spoke to Dom and stuff, and they got back together. Got back together sounds like they were boyfriend, doesn't it? Started working together again.
Yeah, we're back. Just for those who don't know, John was just quickly running off to get his phone charger. To pick that back up there, obviously we was talking about Kell, and he was training with you as soon as the Zarafa fight was over, almost immediately within a couple of days.
Yeah.
But how long then was Kell in camp again? Well, not necessarily in camp, but kind of like working and ticking over, as it were, waiting for a fight? Because there's something which a lot of people always say with Kell. Once he's fought, he doesn't tend to get back into the gym. At least that's the perception around him. I'm not saying that's true, but that's what kind of floated about. So how long were you guys working for again and together from the moment the Zarafa fight ended until Kell decided to move back to Dominic Ingle?
Yeah, he surprised me. He's surprising himself. Like I don't know if I've just said like 2 days after we got back in gym, and we trained all the way up through Christmas and New Year, and then he should have been on the Ruiz Joshua undercard, which I think was June. I'm sure it was June, and we trained all the way up to about 7 weeks before then. We went back over to Fort Ventura in about March, April time, something like that. We went back over. Oh, I tell you what, it was March because I had to come back for my son's christening. That was right. Yeah, it was March. So we went back over to Fort Ventura. We trained over there for a bit, and he had about 6 or 7 weeks to go until the June date, and then that's when the fight fell through. We, like I said, I can't remember. It was something. It was poorly or something anyway, and then he just weren't feeling it. I don't think, and he had to pull out. And then that was the last I worked with him. So probably from Zarafa like 3rd of December or something like that. And we worked up to about March time, something like that. And then that was the last I worked with him.
So I remember when you guys linked up doing interviews with a pair of you both said you saw yourselves working together from that point on, but you never knew.
Yeah, I thought we were, yeah.
So how did it come about that Kell said to you, listen, I'm moving back to the Ingle gym to work with Dominic once again? What exactly did Kell say, and how much of a surprise was it to yourself?
It was a massive surprise, if I'm honest, because like I said, before, I did say to him, I don't mind filling in for a fight, but as long as I know I'm just filling in. And he said, no, you're training me now. And I don't believe for 1 second he didn't believe it. He didn't mean it. He did. I know him. And he's a good kid. He wouldn't have me on like that. You know what I mean? But what it were, somebody, he must have gone down to Jim Ingle's and someone took a picture of him and put it on Instagram. So he texts me straight away and he was just stood outside the ring. And he says, oh, I only went down to see Kid. Like I said, oh yeah, listen. I went, listen, Kell, I went, you were at that gym since you were, what, 8, 9, 10, whatever you were. I said, same as me with Sheffield Boxing Centre. Like if I were training someone somewhere and all my friends were down there, and I won't think twice of popping and seeing them if Glenn were all right with. So don't worry about it. I says, come on, let's get back at gym then. Let's get something done. He was like, yeah, we will do. And then we never did. And then I spoke to him. And then I think Billy Joe Saunders had gone back. Liam Williams were obviously down here. Kid had got a big fight coming up and things like that. And I spoke to him and I just said, what's crack? What's happening? To be honest, and then he just said, he went, John, to be honest with you, I've been down a couple of times. Just to do a bit, like just to get a bit, just to keep ticking over. So I said to him, I went, well, that's fine, but if you're ticking over, you should be ticking over here with me in our gym. So, like, it's one or other kind of thing. What crack is, and he was just totally honest with me, which I always appreciate. I always appreciate honesty, and I think if you have a good relationship, you should be able to be honest with each other. He just said to me, listen, I've been down here since I was God knows how long. He says, it's same with you and Glenn. He says, Billy's back, Liam Williams is training, such and such is training, this and that. He says, I seem to be in a bit of a happier place at the minute, and I want to be around people like that to push me. And I just said to him, Kell, I went, come on, I'm a fighter as well. Like, I know how that works. Like, I know you want to be training with Liam Williams and you want to be training with Billy Joe Saunders and things like that. That's a dream, like, and to be training alongside them fighters, it makes you a better fighter. I says, I totally understand that. I says, just all you got to do is just be honest with me. And he were, and he just said, I'm going to see how it goes. But like I said, he just said to me, like I've said before, I could have picked anybody to train me, but I come to you, and if anybody says, I'll tell everybody how good camp were, and this and that, and thanks for everything, and I hope we don't fall out. And I just said, well, no. I says, listen, I went, we're not going to fall out. I said, like, why are we going to fall out? You were honest with me. So it's just the fact that I said to him, you should have just maybe told me before you even stepped foot down there. Do you know what I mean? But he must have just gone down and seen lads, and I'd crack and I'd laugh. It's like, I don't know. It's like going back home, isn't it? It's his home. Ingle's gym's his home, and Dom's like family to him, and all lads down here's family to him. So when you go back home, and like say if you have a fallout with your brothers and everything, you don't talk for it. But then when you go back home and you're talking again, you're happy again, aren't you? You're like, oh, I'm back home and this is brilliant. And I totally understand that. So we never fall out. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I said that to him. I says, I'm grateful for the opportunity, because even though it didn't go to plan as we thought, it's an odd one, because you can just say it was just bad publicity for me. But what did he say? All publicity is good publicity. So at least I got to meet yourself, and I got to meet a lot of other media and this and that, and people know my name, what might not have known it before outside of boxing circles. And it also gave me that experience, because what I want to be as a trainer, I want to take a kid from my gym who's never boxed before, take him on his first amateur fight, and take him on to be a world champion. And if he gets to a stage where he's topping arena in front of 10,000, 15,000 people, or whatever, I need to know I can cope with that as well as he can cope with it. And working with Kell showed that I can cope with it. I loved it. They weren't one bit of me what for, I like my depth here. I loved it. So I'm always grateful for the experience and the chance he took on me, because he did take a big risk. He took a big risk. I took a big risk. And even though it didn't pay off like we thought, we still got a win. We still got a win together. And and it's boosted my portfolio a little bit.
Just to go back to what you said about Kell wanting to work with the likes of Liam Williams, Gallagher, Billy Joe Saunders, and what have you. I remember at the time when you and Kell linked up, I saw some interviews or some articles and some quotes where Kell was saying he kind of wanted a bit more one-on-one time, and Dominic had a number of fighters, as we've just mentioned, to work with. Hence why he wanted to do a bit more with you. I know you're busy with your amateur gym, but you didn't have the professional side going on, man. With that in mind, was you surprised at all that Kell said to you that he wanted to go back there, knowing that he had so many other fighters to kind of share the one-on-one time with Dominic with?
Yeah, well, I just wondered in my own head, were it because Dominic were back now, whereas before I think Quigley were boxing in LA or something, weren't he? Or somebody were boxing, or Billy Joe were in Canada. Or I don't know. There was somewhere. So I started to wonder in my own head, if he's back now and none of them have got them dates anywhere else, then at least they're all in gym together. Do you know what I mean? And then I just thought, then that's when I did start to think. I wonder whether it would just, whether I was just filling somebody's spot, to be honest with you, which peed me off a little bit. But then I thought, I spoke to him about it again, and he just said, "No, listen, I wanted." He said he never fell out with Dom. He never sacked him, or Dom never kicked him out or anything like that. He fell out. I just think they couldn't work together at the time, and Kell might have been a bit peed off himself, thinking, "Hang on a minute, I've still got something left in me here. Like I'm not getting pushed out, or I'm not getting this." And he maybe wanted somebody to be with him all the time, and which I were. I never treat him like he walks on roses or all that. You know what I mean? I just treat him normal, but I would here with him all the time. And then I just think, when you always want something, you always think you want something, don't you? And like, the grass is not always greener. So I think, like every fighter in the world, even myself with Glyn, when I was boxing, thought, hang on a minute, like, I want one-on-one training, I want this, I want that. And then when you think about it, when it's only you and your trainer, it's a lonely sport. Like, I know boxing is a one-on-one sport. You're on your own, but it's hard enough training anyway. You need your mates around you. You need a cracking gym. You need that buzz. And I think after he didn't perform brilliant, I just think he maybe then thought, when he's gone back down just to see kid and stuff, seeing him having a laugh and everything, because he didn't know the kids in my gym. He trained with kids in gym. He come and train with lads and that, but he didn't know him. And a lot of Mark, like I'm starting off in my gym, so I have a very good bunch of lads, but they were all very starstruck over Kell. So they weren't like ribbing him and giving him some stick and like, get on with it, come on, do you know what I mean? They were all a bit like, oh, can I speak to him, can I not? And even though they can, because he was sound with him, sometimes you just want to be around your mates. You train around your mates, you train hard, and they push you on and you give each other some stick and you push, you like, get on with it, come on, get this done, get that done. And I just think after a while, when he'd been back down and he's seen that happening with Kid and Liam and all that, I think he thought, I might be missing this a little bit. So he gave it a try, and obviously it's worked for him.
Now, let's move on to some of the comments that came out after, yourself and Khaled had kind of gone your own ways and gone down different paths. And going back to Dominic Ingle, I remember at the time you said you weren't happy with a few things, and it's obviously been a while since you worked together, so I've had to refresh my memory and kind of research what was said and what wasn't. And from what I've kind of relearned, I've seen some quotes saying that effectively Dominic saying he thought it was the wrong move at the time, but understood, Kell didn't want to be moving around with him going to Canada with what have you with Billy Joe. And the gym was very busy, but it would have been better than working with an inexperienced trainer who didn't know how to control Kell Brook. And it takes years to kind of develop a relationship to be able to do so. Firstly, what did you make of Dom's comments and at the time that you can remember and what I've just said to you?
Yeah, to be honest, I think when we spoke, it's been a while now. I can't remember what it were, but I've seen Dom since. I've took a couple of my lads down to Ingles and sparred, and no bad blood. They were just little digs. What I just thought he were better. He didn't need to give little digs out. I think he said something like, you can't be a good trainer just by holding pads and ringing sparring partners in or something like that. And I just thought, like, he's been around this game a long, long time. His resume is like as long as my arm. Didn't need little digs like that. Do you know what I mean? And it was something like, said something about the week of the fight. I didn't do something right on the week of the fight. He ain't got a clue what happened on the week of the fight. Nobody had a clue what happened on the week of the fight. Like, I know more than anybody. Like, every fight is different. And I box myself, and I know what I wanted on week of fight. And I've been with other kids who, when I boxed in Glynn's, bear in mind, Glynn, I think Glynn's been in a corner with, a few world title fights. I can't remember. And I was like Glynn's protege. So Glynn used to take me all over. So I've been in fight weeks with Bomber Graham boxing for world title. I've been in fight weeks with Clinton Woods. I've been in fight weeks with Richie Wenton when he boxed Pereira. I've been in all these fight weeks. Do you know what I mean? So I know exactly how to do it, and I know what to do. So nothing went wrong fight week. Nothing went wrong in the camp. It was just he tried too hard in the fight. And it were, yeah, it's all right saying you've got to know somebody for years to know how to deal with them. Well, you could say that about any trainer in the world when somebody switches for them. You could say that about, I don't know, Willie Hutchinson's just gone to Ingle's about 12 months ago, didn't he? You could then say, oh, Willie Hutchinson's, oh, you can't train Willie Hutchinson because you haven't known him since you were a kid. Do you know what I mean? You know, I was inexperienced to what people's knowledge of me, but I know what I'm doing. So you can't say, oh, you can't train him because you haven't known him for this long, because that's about anybody. What about all these trainers what go to Freddie Roach then? All these trainers what go to Freddie Roach when they have a bit of a bad performance or they lose, and you know what boxers like, the first person they blame are the trainers. So they say, oh, I'll go to Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach is Freddie Roach. You could say he can't train any of them because you don't know him. So it was just little things like that. But like I said, it's not... It must have said something what pissed me off, right? Because I remember saying to you, yeah, ring me up and I'll have my say. But I think it was just more like little digs. But like I said, I've been down at Ingle's, took some sparring down anyway, and I spoke to Dom, and I don't really know him. I know him, but I've never really spoke loads, but we said hello, shook hands, said bye. I said, thanks for having us down. He said, thanks for coming. So I ain't got no hard feelings or anything. It was just little digs. But that was also me learning to not, like, now I just think, oh, why would I get bothered? Why are you bothered? Like, in this game, you've got to have some thick skin. And to go far in it, you've got to have some thick skin, and you've got to do what you think's right. What I have learned is, always go with your gut instincts and go with what you think's right. And if it's wrong, then you can hold your hands up. But if you change your mind or you start worrying about other people, what other people think, and it goes wrong, you've got yourself to blame. And we're dealing with people's lives and stuff here. So all I do now is I just go with my own gut. And if I'll ask people, like I'll ask Glenn, I'll ask Andy Manning, I'll ask Lee, and I'll ask people what I trust for a bit of advice here and there, and a bit, should I do this, should I say that, should I not? But I'll do what I think's right, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll throw my hands up and I'll learn from it and never do it again.
Just touching it again, you know, another quote which I found was from Dominic. As good a fighter as Kell Brook is, it's like having a Ferrari and putting a kid behind the steering wheel. The kid might be able to drive a toy car, but it is a different machine.
What is that? Am I the kid?
I assume so.
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
He was talking about rapper fight and you guys working together, so.
Yeah, it must have been there. Listen, he can say what he wants. To be honest with you, I'm not really bothered. I won't lose any sleep over it, to be honest with you, pal. It's like, well, anybody could have said that about when he first started training kids then, couldn't they? Everybody's got to start somewhere, right? And I hadn't started with Kell. I've started with the amateurs, and I had a kid called Dan West, what a good pro, but he went out on road. So I'd not paid as many dues as a lot of people had, but I've paid my dues, and I went in there and I thought I'm happy with the job I did. And I think if instructions would have been followed a bit better, then it would have been it would have looked a bit better on me. But listen, he can say what he wants. I'm not that bothered, to be honest with you, pal. I think it's more. If I'm a kid behind, if I'm that, what's the word, that not that good or whatever. I'm punchy. Told you, didn't I? You know what I mean? I told me to move my head a bit more. If I'm that lower on the scale, it shouldn't have to be bothered about talking about it, really, should it? But be right.
Obviously, just pick that back up there, John. I think it was just because of the length of the conversation, but naturally,
yeah, maybe, yeah.
And the video weren't syncing, but obviously, just picking that back up. The final thing on it all, then, whether it be Dominic or anybody else, did you have any immediate interactions with anyone after the fight who you didn't agree with, who gave you some criticism?
Not really. I think it was even said on Sky by Carl Froch and Adam Smith. A lot of people were saying, well, John Fewkes is telling him to do this, and he's not really listening. So I don't think I got any really bad. I know people weren't happy. I know Eddie weren't really happy with the performance, and I know a few. It's just because everybody was expecting so much for him. But the problem where everybody was expecting so much from Kell, everybody was expecting so little of Michael Zarafa. I said to Kell after on the camp, I must have said to him 20 times, "This kid is no mug. He's not a world beater. He's not world class. He's not Amir Khan's class or Sean Porter's class or that." I went, but he's not a mug. And if you're not switched on, he'll give you a hard night. And I don't think nobody give him any credit whatsoever. And sometimes fighters were on or just at the brink, and they on this, like that was his mega fight, and he's gonna fight out his skin. And I think Kell boxed under par, and he boxed out of his skin, and it just made it closer than it should have been. Probably still won 9 out of 12 rounds, 8 or 9 out of 12 rounds, probably, but it just didn't look like people wanted it to look. But I didn't really get any bad. I don't really. I tell you another thing I did learn from Kell is not to pay any attention to social media, because I'm one of them what I read every single comment before, and the abuse that kid gets is unbelievable. I've never known out like it. He'd put one 30-second clip on him and by go something, and he'd get 300 comments of abuse in 5 minutes, but then he'd also get another 300 of good comments. But it were with here, pal.
Just briefly lost you on the screen, John.
Yeah, because somebody's just trying to ring me. Let me end it. Well, that's better, pal. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah, hang on.
So I didn't. I know there probably were a lot of stick or negative press on social media, but I didn't look at it anyway. As long as I've got a good knit of very experienced and well-respected boxing people in Glen and a lot of other trainers around England and stuff, what I get on with, and every one of them had notebook compliments for me, and every one of them said, "Don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. Be happy with the job you did." So I took all them comments onto consideration. So I were all right. I wanted it to look better for myself and for Kell, and I wanted us to push on, and I wanted us to maybe be cornering somebody at Madison Square Garden on Ruiz undercard or something like that. But listen, everything happens for a reason in life, and at the minute my gym's never been busier. So whether that's because I trained Kell for a little bit, so they've started coming here or what, I don't know. But things are good for me at the minute, and I'm happy and content with the job I did. I'm happy with my relationship with Kell. I'm happy with my relationship with everybody I worked with during that time. So I've got no to complain about.
So just with Kell now, then obviously there's a couple of fights which I've seen his name mentioned with over his past few months. Just get your thoughts on them and how you think Kell could fare in them, if you feel he's still able to perform at world level. Liam Smith was the first one. As soon as he fought and beat Mark DeLuca, Liam Smith was ringside. It was a fight which was being discussed then. How do you think Kell would fare against Liam Smith?
I think that'd be a great fight. I said to Kell when we were working together, forget chasing Amir Khan, forget chasing Sean Porters and stuff like that. I mean, you're good enough to fight them kids, obviously, to be in that league. But I says, why not to box Liam Smith at Echo Arena in Liverpool? Oh my God, the atmosphere and that would be unbelievable. I think that'd be one of the best fights this country's seen in a long time. I think Kell would beat him, but that's no disrespect to Liam Smith. I like Liam Smith; he's a good fighter. But I just think he would still be as fit as him because he's still an athlete. You never lose your power. He digs hard, and I think he's technically still clever enough to outbox him. So I would back Kell on that, but it'd be a hell of a fight. I wouldn't put my house on it, but I would go with Kell.
And another fight which Kell was linked with, and Bob Arum come out himself and spoke about it right at the beginning of lockdown. This was a potential bout between Terence Crawford and Kell Brook. Again, how do you think Kell would fare against somebody who many put in their pound for pound list?
I'd put Terence Crawford up there myself. Like, I'm a massive Alvarez fan, but like he's tainted with a drug thing, in my opinion. It's like it's killed me because I loved it. I love watching him, loved everything about him, and for me, it would be pound for pound all day long. But he's tainted him, so I would put Terence Crawford up there as maybe pound for pound 1 or 2, like his Lomachenko, obviously. You know what I mean? So it would be a hard fight for Kell, a hard fight, but he's a top draw athlete. He's a top draw boxer. And a lot of people didn't think he got any chance going out there and boxing Sean Porter, beating Sean Porter, and he did. All right, a long time ago. It's a bit different. You could never rule Kell out because he's a good fighter. He bangs hard. He's a massive welterweight. And he's a class act. He's a class kid. But I don't think I'd be putting much money on him to beat Terence Crawford. But I won't be putting much money on anybody to beat Terence Crawford. I'd put money on him, giving him a hard night, and I would never say you can't beat him. Kell's good enough to go and beat anybody on his day. Just look at it. If Terence Crawford has a bit of a bad night and Kell boxes out his skin like Zarafa did with him, there's no reason he won't beat him. But I think people would think I'm an idiot and just saying it if I said Kell would be the favourite going into the fight. He won't be the favourite, but you've got to give him a chance.
And then a final fight, I just want to get your thoughts on it. It's something which has been spoken about for years and we just have never seen. There's always been talks about it. Obviously, Brook-Khan. In your opinion, firstly, are you still interested in seeing it? And if so, how do you think it would play out? I think everybody's kind of agreed or come to the conclusion we won't see it now, but you never know in the boxing world.
I think everybody's lying if they said he won't tune in and watch it. Every boxing fan in England, it has lost a lot of appeal, I think, but every boxing fan in England would tune in to watch it. I would pay 25 quid for box office and watch it at home. Do you know what I mean? Like I would pay to watch it. I think Amir doesn't get enough credit for what he has done in this game. He's won titles. He won titles at 3 weights, 2 lightweight, welterweight, and he's won world titles at 2 weights or 3 weights. He's boxed at 3 weights, whatever. He's got win over Marcus Maidana. And even when I trained Kell, I said this: I would never have any disrespect to Amir Khan. I've sparred with him. I've met him. I've worked with him. He's a nice kid. I wouldn't show any disrespect to him, but my money would be on Kell all day long. I think. And before I started working with him, I thought it was 50-50. It still is 50-50, but I thought, I don't know, I'm not too sure. But when I've seen Kell up close in action, what he can do to big middleweights in sparring. I know sparring and fighting is different, but in sparring and things like that, I just think he'd be too big and too strong for him. And I think Khan's a class boxer and he would probably outbox him for a few rounds. But it's hard to keep somebody off you for 12 rounds. And somebody as strong as Kell, they maybe only need 2 or 3 rounds to get you going and then get you out of there. and obviously Amia's is been took out a couple of times as well. As you get older, your punch resistance goes a little bit more, and I don't think Amia could hurt Kell, but I think Kell could hurt Amia, and I think that would be the difference in the fight. So I would back Kell all day long. Listen, I would not hold my breath to see it anymore, but I would 1,000,000% watch it if it happened.
John, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. I've kept you for probably, it must be an hour or something now.
Mate, I have Peppa Pig on my house 24/7 a day now, so don't worry about it. The only break from Peppa Pig I get is just his house and Mr. Tumble. So to talk about boxing for an hour has been a pleasure, mate.
No, it's been great to catch up with you. Obviously, I know we've been trying to tie it in for a while, but for both of us, we've both been very busy and that. But it's great to catch up. It's great to see you're still doing well and you're healthy yourself and your family's all good. Before I leave you to enjoy the rest of your day, what would you like to say to everybody who tunes in to watch our interview?
I would like to say thanks to everyone who tunes in to watch the interview, because I'm still, I'm hoping to be around this sport for a very, very, very long time, and I'm hoping to do very well at it. So it's nice that people like yourselves give me a chance early on. And thanks everybody for watching it. I will always be honest, and I remember when Sky come round to do something for his fight week, and he said, the guy at Sky said, "You're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble, you pal." And I said, "Why is that?" He went, "Because you're very honest." And I went, and I always will be. Some people will like me for it, some people won't like me for it. I would just like to say as well, just now, I ain't got no bad feelings to anybody, to Kell or to Dom, to anybody. Listen, if there's little things I've said on here, what people want to take out of context, they can take it out of context. But if people watch the entire interview, they'll know there were nothing said in malice or anything like that. So, thanks a lot. I will hopefully speak to you again soon, pal, when boxing's back up and running and I've got my own kids boxing in certain fights, and hopefully maybe working with somebody on big fights again sooner or later.
Hopefully we will see that, John. And I will leave you, like I say, to enjoy your day. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
No problem. Oh, I just want to tell everybody, Titans Boxing, quick plug. This is us in Sheffield, Titans Boxing, Dennis Hobson Promotions. Anybody's ever in Sheffield, needs ticking over, any pros or anybody wanting to start boxing, we're on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc., etc. Look us up.